1, 2, 3, 4.
Mrs. and a mic, you don't need much more.
4 misses.
Come on.
4 misses.
Come on.
5, 6, 7, 8.
It's your favorite podcast, so save the date.
4 misses.
Come on.
4 misses.
Come on. 4 misses and a mic. Come on. 4 misses and a mic. Come on.
Hi, guys. Welcome to the 4 Mrs. and a Mic podcast. This is CJ.
To the left is CC.
It's L.
And Bree. Hi.
Okay, so today's topic we are discussing is why do we stay in bad relationships?
I know the answer. Y'all want me to tell y'all because I know the answer.
Because we are emotional creatures.
That ain't it.
And
So how about this, guys? We have a guest.
Oh, yeah.
We have a visitor here with the 4 Mrs.
we
got Key in the building.
Whoa.
Yay.
So let's let Key take a stab at it. Why do you think we stay in bad relationships?
Because we see the potential.
That ain't it.
We see the whole.
I'm telling y'all, I know the answer.
It's because we're emotional creatures.
That ain't it.
Go ahead, Miss Key.
Bree, it ain't always about,
No, it's not that. Y'all think I'm going to say it's about the peen, but it's not.
Okay,
It's not.
so Key, you're saying we see the potential. What do you mean?
So, like, you meet a guy and you feel like, oh, well, although he has these qualities, I see these extra qualities in him, and I could bring this out of him because you know the type of woman you are. So you like, we could make this work.
Because we nurture.
Yes.
And we're emotional.
That
Yes.
ain't it.
So you think you can work on him to make him, you can mold him
Yes.
to bring out his best qualities and make him the right man for you.
A zebra don't change their stripes.
Okay. All right.
L, you think you know? Because I know.
I can only speak for like personal situations. And for me, I mean, it was straight up stupidity. This man, the bad relationship that I'm thinking about, I mean, our dates consisted of watching TV and chilling in his dorm room, like, nah.
No substance.
That was a terrible
No
relationship.
substance.
No substance at all.
Y'all ready for me to tell y'all the real answer?
Because we're emotional.
No, that ain't it. This is why women stay, or men, anybody, stay in bad relationships. I'm about to blow y'all minds. Because they don't have self-esteem. Self-esteem is at the root of you believing that A, that's the best you can do. B, you can convince that person to change. C, that you deserve to wait around while they do what they're going to do until they change. Like, it's the root of it all. A person who knows their worth is not going to put up with bullshit. That's what it is.
I disagree
But
with that.
I'll say that I kind of agree and I kind of disagree because eventually you get emotionally involved. And as much as we like to pretend like we can turn it off and turn it on as a woman, I don't think we're wired to do that. So we struggle with that. So I think it may be a self-esteem issue, but it could be that you really fell for this guy and then it's like,
But Cece,
Wait.
I think if your self-esteem is high, once you start to see those red flags, whether you've emotionally invested or not, you're going to be like, hold up, I got to pull up.
I don't
Yes.
think so. I don't
Here's
think
the
so.
thing, though. I think also when you say that you're staying in a bad relationship, that doesn't mean that eventually you don't decide to move on. And it doesn't mean that eventually you don't say, I deserve more and I'm just going to cut it cold turkey and leave this situation. It just means that for the time being, you're letting this situation go on. You're letting it play out. And I do think that if you are emotionally attached and here it is, you have fallen in love with this guy, whether you know you deserve better or not, it is really hard to just cut those feelings cold turkey.
I didn't
Right,
say your
so-
feelings would be gone.
But how does it? But how do you end it? If you have a self-esteem issue and you finally move past this bad relationship, is it because all of a sudden you just got self-esteem?
Not necessarily. It could be because you started to see your worth and you started to work on yourself and realize you deserve better. Or it could be because you just got tired of being the doormat.
I think that can be one reason, but I don't think that that's the number one reason.
I think
I'll
that's
say that.
the top
I'll
10.
say that can be a lot of cases, because I can say that was I've experienced that, but I can also say that you catch feelings.
Feelings or not, I feel like once you know better, you do better.
But you
Yeah.
may not see the bad until after you're a couple months in.
You
it may
listen,
be great.
I'm not saying that you won't be emotionally invested. Even after you've walked away, you still might have feelings. But a person with high self-esteem is not going to stay and put up with anything. Like, they're just not. They're going to be like, I can do better.
Like I said,
Whether I
agree-
like you or
agree
not,
with you.
I can do better.
I'll say that may be a large bit of it, but I also can see that you get emotionally invested and you think that this is it. And I don't think it has anything to do with you necessarily being like, oh, I can't go find anybody else. I think it could be, hey, it could be a person that, hey, is getting up in age. They get with someone and they're like, hey, I want this to be my forever. And then it doesn't turn out to be. It doesn't necessarily mean that his or her self-esteem is hurting. It just means that they fell for this person and it's just not ending up the way they thought it might.
So I think it does mean that, because whether they're up in age or not, a person who has the right self-esteem also understands that you don't have to be with someone to be happy. And in a lot of times, it's better to be alone than to be unhappy in a relationship.
But it can be what they want.
Right. I was
You
getting
want
ready
to
say
be
that-
unhappy?
No. It can be
yeah.
that you want to be with this person.
You may want to be, I want to be Beyonce, but guess what? It's not going to
But that
happen.
doesn't make you have a
not
self-esteem
a fair
issue,
comparison.
though.
No, but what I'm saying is, whether you want it or not, a person who knows their worth is not going to stick around because, well, I just want to be with that person.
No,
But I think most women have, or most people in general, have been in a bad relationship or two. I'm not talking about abuse or anything
No,
like
no,
that.
no.
I'm just saying,
Yeah,
like,
let's
a bad
clarify that
relationship.
real
But I don't think
fast.
everybody has low self-esteem, though. You know what I mean? Like, I think
you
everybody has
can go
been in that
through
type of
bouts.
situation.
Because I definitely know the worst relationship I was in definitely
So-
was insecure, definitely had low self-esteem, definitely thought that was all I
But-
deserved, the best I was going to get, and what I should be putting up with.
But see, I agree. Some people are in a bad relationship because of that reason, but I don't think all is because of that reason. That's what I'm saying.
I think it's the root of it, and you can
Yeah.
look at it and be like, oh, well, no, it's this. But I think the root of the this is still gonna be you don't see your self-worth, and that's why you're still there.
And I can tell you, I've been in a bad relationship, and I felt that maybe, perhaps, it was a self-esteem issue 100%. But then I also know that I was in another bad relationship, and I don't think it had anything to do with me at that point. It was just,
Yeah, but
I
how
caught
long did you
feelings,
stay?
And not long,
Right.
Because I saw, and I'm like,
Exactly.
But I feel
The
like that's
person
still-
who stays
But
is the
you
person
stayed-
who
but I
has.
stayed for longer than I should have.
Well, how long
Now,
was
I'll say
that?
I mean,
I mean-
that's arbitrary though. What's too long? A day could be too long. 3
I'm
months
not.
could be
I'm
too
not
long. You know what I'm
saying that
saying?
like, oh, he did that thing. That's a red flag. All right, don't talk to me no more. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the woman who's with the guy who this is his second or third time you caught him talking to another woman.
Oh,
or
you mean like a
the-
long term,
Yes.
like really? Okay.
Yes. I don't mean like a bad dating situation. I mean a bad relationship. We're either like seriously long-term dating or we're married or something like that. At a point of him putting you through all these bad things, you got to start looking at yourself. Why am I putting up with this? Because he's not going to
So
change.
when you finally do leave, are you saying that at that point you've built your self-esteem back up? Or
no, but I think
because
it's step
eventually
one
you
to
may
building your
leave.
self-esteem back up.
But And I feel like it's
I just
contradicting
think
it.
I just think that there are far too many reasons that women stay in bad relationships aside from self-esteem issues. Like even
what?
the women who stay in the long-term relationship knowing that it's not leading to marriage, knowing that he's cheating, but they just enjoy hanging out with this person. They don't have the expectations of marrying this person. They might even be dating other
Well,
people.
then how is that a bad
along the
relationship?
way.
And that sounds like they just have an arrangement.
No, because it can
But
still
then,
be
no,
a
but that-
bad relationship.
Well, what's bad about it? Because all
mean-
you said was like, he's not gonna marry her, and he's seeing other women, but she's seeing other guys, and she doesn't want to get married. That's not a bad relationship. That's an arrangement.
But what if she does want to get married and she just is something is keeping her tied to this guy, but then it's like, let me go try something else out too.
Then they're not in a relationship.
So people
But
can be in
you-
relationships,
yeah, right.
and it doesn't have to be faithful relationships.
Right, it can be
Like,
open
if
relationships,
You have
it can be
decided that you
closed.
and this person are together, because guys, you know what I'm saying? It happens all the
Did
time.
he decide
And
that
you
too, though? Is the
you
question.
And I'll give you, like I said, I agree with you to a certain extent. I think self-esteem can be a huge reason that some people say, but I won't say I think that that's the number one because I don't think that's always the case.
Yeah, I don't.
So I'll agree.
I
with
just
you,
don't think
but-
it's always
Yeah.
the case.
Yeah.
I think it is
At the root of it
a
all.
big factor of a lot of bad relationships, but I don't think it's the case for all.
Right.
This reminds me of the $75 engagement ring, and I just want all of y'all to know that I'm gonna bring y'all each one to my side slowly but surely, just like I did with that too.
So okay, so let's take this.
It's
from,
a good thing we got 5 people
Right,
in
let's
here.
take
You can have 500 people. I
So
don't
let's
care.
take this from a single woman's perspective.
Yeah, go ahead, Keith.
What do you think about women who choose to stay in a bad relationship?
Wait, before we do that, we forgot to do this. We forgot to disclaimer that, like, we're not talking about physically abusive relationships for all the listeners out there. That is leave 100%. Don't ever stay. Like, that's go, bye. I don't care. There's no excuse. Like, leave.
Right. And bad relationship is also not equivalent to him or her cheating. There could
Right.
be other things. in a
Right, but that's what I'm
relationship
saying. Like, we
that
got to define
are
why it's bad, because I can pretty much point all things back to self-esteem. But anyway.
Right. So like even, the two of you may not be compatible, or, your desires may have changed as far as like what you want in a relationship, or what you want long-term goals, or what he wants long-term
So
goals.
bye-bye.
So bad can be a bunch of things, but it doesn't mean that people automatically say this is bad, I'm leaving. And it doesn't mean that because they're staying, they don't have high self-esteem. But go ahead, Key. What do you think
go ahead.
from a single woman's perspective?
Okay, so just to touch on the whole self-esteem thing, when I think back on my ex, my issue with staying with him wasn't self-esteem. I bought a house while I was with him. I progressed job-wise, moved up with my job. It wasn't about self-esteem. I didn't feel like I had low self-esteem. I really felt like I saw him, I saw what could come from it, and so I wanted to work on him as a man because I knew how strong of a woman I was. And when it didn't work, I felt like my self-esteem dropped after that because I had so much confidence in what we had, and then I was like, oh, I did all that for nothing.
Well, let me ask you this question. So what made the relationship bad? Why would you define that relationship as a bad? Because I don't feel like just because two people didn't work out that the relationship was bad.
Mm-hmm.
So, why do you feel like that was a bad relationship?
I think it was just the way it ended. And then when I feel like he taught me a lot about stuff that I want now. Being with him, it taught me everything that I don't want. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a thing of oh, well, I want to be with him and I want my next man to be like him. It was I don't ever want to be with him again, and I don't ever want another man to be like him. So it taught me stuff that I didn't want.
So what about that? Was it you all weren't compatible? Was it he was selfish? Was
He was very selfish. Everything was about him. Everything ended up being all about him. How he felt, how he thought, what he really wanted. He started making decisions for us instead of letting me make a decision as a woman for me and for us. And so, it became very just self. Everything was about him, what he wanted, how he felt, what he thought. And if it wasn't right for him, then it wasn't right for us.
And as far as how you all interacted, do you feel like you guys had healthy interactions? Was it toxic? How did you all interact?
I felt like it was healthy up until the point when he decided to be selfish, and then it became toxic. And then my self-esteem at that point was lowered because I was like, damn, I did all this and this man still just don't want to be with me.
So I'm holding on to my theory, y'all. I really feel like it's at the root of everything. And okay, I have to say this. me saying that like you have low self-esteem does not mean that I think that you thought that you were like, I don't know, like less than or not capable or anything like that. But what I do think it is that you felt like, well, instead of going out there and getting the person who's already manifesting in that potential, I have to, or the best I should do is try to mold this person into what I think he might become because that's what I really want. That's what I'm saying. Like, and I feel like if you know that you're worth more than that and worth somebody who's not selfish and worth somebody who's already, you know, living in their potential, then you wouldn't, and I'm not judging you. I hope you understand that, right? Okay. I'm just like you wouldn't have stuck around trying to put a square peg into a round hole, basically.
But did you feel that way? Did you feel like you had to stay with him because of whatever? Or did you feel like you just wanted to stay with him because you loved him?
See, this is the thing. I feel like you guys think that I'm saying that like it's a control thing. Like it's not.
I'm asking. I'm just saying, like you're saying that that's your, you know, like that's your thoughts on it. So I'm just asking her, like, is that how she felt, or was it something different?
I felt like at first it was an obligation, and then as I don't know, maybe I started convincing myself like this is what I really need to do. This is where I really need to be. Who I really need to be with. I feel like I convinced myself after a while. I did feel like it was an obligation at first.
To be with him?
To be with him, yeah.
Like, and the only reason why I'm, like, I feel really adamantly about this is because, like, I've been in more than one of these situations. And when I self-reflected after the fact, I was like, damn, if I had been believing the whole time that I am the Bree that I know I am, I would have never put up with this bullshit. You know what I mean? That's why I really feel like at the core of it all, it comes down to you not realizing that you are each individually, whether it's the man or the woman, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to just be the woman in a relationship. You are worth more than someone who is going to not put forth the effort to make the relationship good.
And I guess I just so adamantly disagree because I've been the exact opposite. Like, I've always been the one to walk away from a relationship if it were bad, but also knowing that if I stayed, it's just because I was staying for entertainment, not because I didn't think I couldn't do better or get better.
You know what you are? You are the kid with the magnifying glass with the sunburn and the ant. Just so you know, that's who you are.
Because I've definitely been in situations that were bad. Like where he was cheating and he was doing whatever. And for me, I knew, well, this situation is bad. This is not my forever or my long term. But I'm having fun. So while I'm looking for somebody else, he might not know I'm looking for somebody else. But while I'm looking for whatever's better than him, I still enjoy, kicking it or hanging out or whatever the case may be. So I'll keep you around until I find.
I would honestly question how invested you were in that relationship at that point, because it almost feels like you were there, but you weren't really present. So it's almost like you weren't still in the bad relationship. I mean, you were there, but you emotionally had already checked out. You were looking for the next dude.
Right, emotionally, but technically, I was
right. But that's my point. So you weren't in the bad relationship anymore. So you're saying, you've never had the self-esteem issues, and you basically just proved my point that that's never been the reason that you stayed in a bad relationship.
But I was still in that situation. I had not completely cut this guy off and walked away.
Yeah, but at that point, you had changed the dynamic. You had taken all the control out of it because you were just there so that he could be your entertainment. You weren't there investing your emotions into him anymore.
Yeah, but technically, if we're just speaking, technically.
Well, I mean, okay, so you hadn't taken his last name off your diary. But I mean, you weren't really in it, is what I'm saying.
Emotionally, no.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but if you're still doing relationship things with this person, you're still hanging out with this person.
You can still hang out. You can still have sex. You can still. I mean, that doesn't mean you're in it. You could just be having fun, which it sounds like what you were doing.
So let's frame it this way. Let's try.
That's to me, you have to be emotionally checked in.
So let's everybody go back to 3 loves. Boom, boom, boom. Right. So let's go to number 2.
Do we have to? I hated number 2. I'm joking.
Number 2 was the one that we all kind of said was the one that was the struggle, right?
yes.
Number 2. Everybody think about number 2.
Yeah, that's the one I was just talking about with the
What?
stupidity.
It's definitely the lowest of my
What made us
self-esteem.
stay with number 2?
You know what I'm gonna say?
Well, Bree, we said self-esteem.
That, and he's the one that blankmatized me.
Miss CJ.
No, I legit loved number 2, and I was really hoping that things would work with number 2. So that's why I stayed. I was emotionally invested. Yes.
What's yours?
I'll say it was self-esteem. It was a mix.
Yeah, for me, I was in a different city for school. I didn't really know anybody. And I was just kind of lonely, and he was just there, and we had a lot in common. And so we, I just started catching feelings because we just had so much in common and we had fun together. But it started to get kind of, I guess, toxic and stagnant when we weren't really ever going out together. Like, we were kind of just hanging out in his dorm, and it was almost like he was like, he couldn't take me in public, things like that. And so that's why I say stupidity, because you should,
dipped.
I should have left then. That was red flag, like big time. But come to find out later, he was with somebody else. Like, he was, talking to somebody else. But, I was dumbfounded. Like, wait a minute, but we was together all the time. Like, when did you find the time to do that, But
They find time for what they want to find time for.
But yeah, so that's why I say it's just, I shouldn't, that was just a waste of time, basically. Because that was a long time before I actually found out, about the cheating part. So, just a bad situation.
It was definitely stupid. It's not stupidity stuff. It was stupidity and self-esteem for me, because I definitely should have left that one a long, long time ago. But I thought, this is good. This is it. This is all I deserve. This is all I'm going to get. And when we're together, I'm happy for the most part. But when we're not and he's doing all the terrible stuff he's doing, I just didn't know better. So I didn't do better.
So it also sounds like our theories on like why we stayed in a bad relationship relies heavily on our past experience, and that being for each of us what we think is the root of why people stay in bad relationships.
So let me ask our guests a question. So knowing what you went through with the ex that you were just talking about, the next guy comes and shows you just half of what he does. Do you stay and try to make that work, or do you dip out a lot faster?
Half of what the ex.
Yeah, like half of the red flags.
I'm out the door. At this point, I'm out. I'm out the door.
So you're like, I'm definitely not putting up with anything close to that.
5 minutes of conversation, I'm out.
Oh, I like that.
Yes.
I like that.
It's a done deal.
She's kind of where is the private jet? Because I'm out.
Not with you.
I'm going to get a jet one day. Y'all keep making fun of me. Just wait. Just wait.
I don't get on those.
Yes, you will. You're going to get on it. Come with me to Africa.
All right, so to wrap up, we think that one of the main reasons that people, male and female, stay in bad relationships is self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
One thing. Mm-hmm.
I think, people can be emotionally attached and they just have a hard time detaching themselves emotionally. And is stupidity one? You can
say stupidity.
You just
Because you
Stupid.
can't. Love is
oblivious
blind.
and naive to
Yes,
blind.
naive.
Let's
That's
say
a better-
naive.
that's a
Yeah,
better
more than
word,
stupid.
yeah.
But love is
Because like I said
blind,
before,
like-
if you don't know better, you didn't do better.
If
Yeah,
you're in
I
it-
mean, I say that because it's just the red flags were just all over the
place.
place.
Mine too.
Like, come on.
What
And
more
if
do you
you're in
need?
love,
Looking
you can't
back, it's
see.
just like, oh.
The cheating,
Can't see it.
girl,
Yeah.
everything. But
But yeah, naive is a better word, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so
And loneliness.
you find yourself in this situation and whatever it is, because in that moment it's hard to say I'm being naive, it's hard to say my self-esteem is low, it's hard to say I'm so blinded by love. What does it take to pull you out of that situation?
I think it takes the realization that you could do bad by yourself. So what do I need you to do bad for me for? Like, you really have to be like, most of the time that I am in this relationship, I am unhappy. That's not good. So I'm going to leave. Because, I mean, let's be honest. Before it's gotten to that point, you've either had conversations or even arguments with that person about the things that you need that are not being met, about the things that they're doing or not doing that you feel like should be being done or not being done. And that person has shown you through their actions, whether their words reflected that or not, that they're not willing to put that effort forth for you. So once you get to that point, you have to just be like, you know what? Why am I putting up with this? I would have more free time and more money without you. Let me just do me. And then, you know, if I find the next person and he's better, great. But if not, I'm okay with me. And that's another thing. I feel like a lot of people are not okay with themselves. And so that fear of being alone keeps a lot of people being in a relationship. And you have to know that you are your very best friend. And that being alone doesn't mean that you're lonely. It just means you're not in a relationship.
So that's a good one, because I don't think that the fear of lonely is necessarily a self-esteem issue.
I think it is.
You think?
I think you're not comfortable with yourself.
Nah, I think you just don't want to be by yourself.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think that you just want
I think
somebody to
but I think if
like,
you're
you just
comfortable
want-
by yourself, you have like a high visual and idea of who you are. That means
No, but
you're
you
not
can
so-
just want to have somebody to love, somebody to hang on to, somebody to look out for you.
But you can
Yeah,
have
I mean,
that
in
in
my-
relationships that aren't romantic. I'm
Yeah,
sorry
but
to
it's
cut you
not the
off.
same
No, it's okay.
thing.
I mean, when I was in my situation, I mean, I was super young. I was away from everybody. It was just really like I was lonely. I was in the country. Wasn't much to do. You know, and this person was like, we had so much in common, and, you know, we were hanging out and everything was great. So it was great until it wasn't, you know? So I don't know. I think looking back, I can say so much about it, but in the time, I just was like, this is occupying my time, that I was, you know, sitting in my dorm being completely bored and, you know, not really having much to do.
Yeah, I think once you start to realize that most of your time is not spent happy, you need to do some self-reflection and maybe do like what Cece did with the little pros and cons list. Or, you know, just think about like, oh, you know, we've been together 6 months and 4 of those months have been unhappy.
But
like
sometimes you know that you're not supposed to be here. You know this is bad for you. You know that this is not something that you should be doing,
Right.
and you just don't. So
And-
it's not always you don't see it or you don't know. You know.
But that's what I'm saying. Like
but
once
there's
you know
the
better,
heartstrings that are still attached.
I just
And that's where I say it turns into more of an emotional connection. It's a catching feelings. It's like I need to go, but
you know what I honestly think that is? I don't even think it's like this emotional connection, catching feelings thing. I think it's you feeling like it's so much work to go back to zero with somebody else when I'm already comfortable
That too.
with this person.
I mean, that
I
too.
almost feel like it's like, I'm not calling you lazy, but I almost feel like it's a laziness type thing.
yeah, I can see that.
But I mean, but you
So
have
now-
to value yourself more than the effort that it takes to do
So
that.
now I feel like we've just added another thing to the
Yeah.
bucket. So let me
No.
say this. I don't want. I think it's easy to say because you don't want to be lonely, you don't love yourself enough to spend time alone. Because truth be told, put any of us in a room with just us for a week, you are going to be looking for somebody to spend some sort of time with. And that does not mean you don't value yourself or that you have low self-esteem.
Right.
But as humans, we just enjoy having that interaction with someone else.
But that's what
So-
I'm saying. But you can have that interaction without being in a romantic relationship with the wrong person. You can be single relationship wise, but still have plenty of human interaction. Friends with benefits, family, fellow
Yeah, but-
coworkers, students, whatever. You can have a very rich and active social life, and you can do a lot of things and be around a lot of people and never feel lonely like your relationship status shouldn't dictate whether or not you feel
But
lonely.
we're not wired that way.
But we're
wired
are.
to want to mate and to match.
You can mate. You
Naturally.
don't have to be in a
But no,
relationship.
that's what I'm saying. I mean, we can be friends. Like, we can all hang out right here, but eventually I'm going to be like, mister, where you at? Like, it's
Yeah, but
not,
you don't have to like be in love with the mister, is what I'm saying. Until the right mister comes.
But that's what you, I mean, we're all innate, like, we're all wanting that. I mean,
Let me
from
tell you.
animals
I'm
to...
gonna tell you how I survived.
Mammals to humans to everybody wants to be
This
with,
what you
or
do.
not everybody, but most people want to be with someone.
This what you do. Okay. You got your friends, you got your co-workers, and then you gotta have your emergency dick in the glass. And that's the guy you call when you're alone.
But that doesn't
But-
take the place of somebody plucking your heartstrings.
But it does, because you can know that, okay, my Prince Charming is not with me right now. Maybe he's still working on himself just like I'm still working on myself. But in the meantime, I'm not going to waste my time with the wrong guy. But I'm going to fill up my time with my friends, with my family, and when I get that itch, I can scratch it.
But
what-
STDs though.
You
But
can hang with
STDs.
us today. You can
That's
hang.
what condoms are for.
But I'm
that
saying,
don't
being
stop
honest,
everything.
if it's a self-esteem issue, you're probably going to run into that person who's like, I don't want this guy who's just going to temporarily feel my, like physical connection.
Right. You're gonna, and that's the person that's gonna be with Mr. Right now and not Mr. Right.
But this
And
is
that's the
thing.
problem.
But this is the thing. You can hang out with us today. You can hang out with your mom tomorrow. You can hang out with your sister, your siblings, or whatever. The next day, you still want to go home to Mr. Bree, right?
I mean, I found him.
She said,
No, that's not me questioning whether or not I want to go home to him, because I
But
want to
I'm
go home to him
saying
every day. But the difference
You
is,
want that eventually.
you mean, have I met him yet or not? Because once I've met him and I've been in that type of relationship that I have now with my husband, of course. But this is not a relationship that I'm being in for the wrong reasons. I'm being in this one for the right reasons. It's a healthy relationship.
Right, but my point is, all of this time you were looking for that, right? Weren't you looking for
So
a mate?
actually, no. What happened was and I had my friends and I had my
That's it.
friends
you,
with benefits.
You were because
But-
you wanted that.
But guess what? The moment I stopped
Right, but
is
you
when
still-
I found him.
But that's not. But what I'm saying is that's what you wanted, right?
I'm not
that was
saying,
your
but
end game.
right, and that
Exactly.
can be your end game. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, in the meantime, you don't have to fill up your time with the wrong people. And you may not know that's the wrong person initially, but once you know that's the wrong person, it's okay to walk away. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so we're back to where we just took a little detour, but we're back to where we started, is in the how do you walk away? Because if we're all being very honest, in whatever situation we were in, whether it be 1, 2, in between, we know it's not as easy as, all right, bye.
Right. No, it's not.
So what do you do to walk away?
I'm one of those like Band-Aid chicks. Like ripping it off is a lot easier than like slowly peeling. So I'm
I'm a
probably
slow peel.
going to do my best to cut off cold turkey, because I feel like out of sight, out of mind. So the quicker my space isn't filled with you, the quicker I can get over you. And yes, I'm going to go through the mourning of the relationship. Yes, I'm going to grieve it. I'm going to cry. I'm going to self-doubt. I'm going to question. I'm going to do all those things. But I will go through them faster if I don't have to interact with you.
So I will say that's probably the best method, but I am like let's ease away. Knowing.
You take a slow walk. You take a slow walk, and I run.
but it's not effective until you just rip the Band-Aid off.
Right.
Like, I'll try to
Because the truth of the matter is,
Why?
sometimes the bad relationship, like we keep kind of going back to bad relationships being where he's cheating or blah, 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 blah. The bad relationship could be where he's too present and he's controlling and he's smothering. And so if you don't cut it cold turkey, the longer you leave those strings, you're kind of leading him on and making him think that the door is still open. And that's just going to be more heartache for you.
I agree with that.
Key, what did you do?
I'm gonna rip the Band-Aid off.
Yes.
I just feel like that's the easiest. Like, it's easier to just be done rather than to try and slowly like.
Yeah, that's the best way.
that's
I'll say
just a
that's the
lot
best
more.
way, but
And I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I've always done it that way.
Yeah.
And sometimes I didn't do it that way because I wanted to make sure I left that door open in case I regretted my decision later, which is selfish and stupid because I knew I was leaving for the right reasons. But the Band-Aid, I mean,
Yeah, it's the best method. It's what you should do.
What
But
about you, Elle?
I mean, I think that's the best method.
Rip the Band-Aid off?
Yeah, I think that's the best
Snatch it
method. I'm
and
not
go.
gonna say that's what I did, but
right,
yeah.
that's the
Sure,
best
we're all
method.
guilty of not doing it. But
I mean, I walked
So what
away
do we
blazing.
do? We tell him it's over. We delete the number. We unfriend on social media.
I would block, so I don't even have to see
I
you
do it
because
all.
I'm telling you, you gotta be out of sight, out of mind.
See, I know for a fact Key is a fan of blocking.
Her block game is
She will
strong.
block you in a heartbeat. As a
Am I
matter
on
of
block?
fact,
Am I on block?
No.
Okay, I
of
just
course
wanted to
not.
know.
just 2 hours ago, she told me about somebody she blocked. So, yeah.
Yeah.
She's
Super
that's
strong.
her thing.
Strong with a C, not a T.
That's where she get a confidence from. I do believe in, if it's safe to do so, having face-to-face conversations for breakups. I don't believe in like text breakups.
not a sticky note.
Not a sticky note breakup. Shout out to Sex in the City. No, none of that. Like, if you were with this person face to face for a relationship, you can end it face to face. Like, that's just what I believe. If
Or
it's
you
safe
could
to
just
do
block.
so. If you fear being in this first person's presence, then that's different. But other than that, you need to, you owe them that much. I
Face
feel
to
like.
face, or at least a phone call.
At least a phone call.
Not a text message.
Yeah.
Yeah, no text, no
Not a
DMs.
voicemail.
Don't just change your Facebook status and be like, he'll figure it out.
Not an email.
Don't email him. Don't just delete him off your IG and be like, he'll get the hint.
Him
Not
or
an
her.
emoji.
Or her, yeah.
her,
Don't take this girlfriend off of your page and then add that one and be like, the old one will figure it out.
Yeah,
Like,
don't key his car.
Don't get.
Or pour milk in the sun.
Pour milk in the what?
In the sun.
Pour milk in the sun.
Pour milk on the
On the
car.
car. In the
Oh, and then let it
sun.
sit in the sun. I thought you just meant pour milk in the sun. I was like, is that like voodoo or something? What does that do?
I just heard about that
Oh,
working.
oh.
Interesting.
And if you bury his drawers in your front yard, you gotta dig them up. That is voodoo.
Are we ready for the listener questions?
I think we are.
Here we go. Listener question. This one is from Miranda out of Baker.
Hi, Miranda.
Hi,
Thanks for
Miranda.
listening.
So, when it comes to love, should you follow your head or your heart?
I always go first. I'm not gonna go first, but I have my answer already.
I feel like I always like straddle the line, but I'm gonna say half and half. You have to be sensible, but you also have to go with what you feel.
Okay, so since I didn't go first now, because you went first, I'm gonna go second. You follow. I like have answer my pants because I feel like I have a great answer for this one. You follow your heart unless your heart and your head are in disagreement, and then you have to follow your head.
Ooh,
Because
that's a good one.
Because it's okay to let your emotions guide you. Oh, is that pizza? Okay, so after our little pizza break, let me just get back into what I was saying. So you follow your heart unless your heart and your head are in disagreement. And then you follow your head. And the reason is I'm totally fine with approaching my marriage specifically, but really any relationship with somebody that I care about with love and with my emotion until the logical side of me starts to say something's not right. And that's where your head comes in. Now, if you don't listen to your head in those situations and keep following your emotions in your heart, that's how you end up staying in bad relationships. See how I brought that back around? Yeah.
I can agree with that. Like I said before, red flags, pay attention to them.
Yes.
That's your head.
That's
Listen
your
to your head.
head,
If you
yeah.
see, if you see red flags, just walk away. Please walk away. But yeah, I can completely agree with that.
Who said it? Was it Maya Angelou that said, when a person shows you who they are, believe them the first
Oh,
time?
yeah.
Believe
Yes.
them.
Yeah.
So, obviously, I'm a follow your head person.
Of course.
I never
would've
she
guessed.
is.
Right.
Right.
Never would have thought.
Yeah. Which actually is probably why in the past it's been so easy for me to say, this this is not working. Let's just keep it moving. So yeah, that's me. And once it really seems like the relationship is genuine and things might work, then I'll slowly start to add a little bit of heart in there. But for me, I'm head and logic all the way. What about you, Keith? What you think?
So I think I'm with CJ on this one. I'm a head person, and then the heart.
Going on, girl.
Once I feel like things are legit, I can see clearly, and we might actually be on the same path. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna stop thinking so much and then start feeling more. So yeah.
So y'all was talking about like at the beginning of the relationship.
We don't know what Miranda was thinking.
Yeah.
We're just gonna assume.
Well, I mean,
we
for
gave
me-
different answers.
Yeah, because my answer is based mostly on like y'all like ended already.
Yeah.
But I think in the beginning I'm with y'all.
Oh, well.
So
In it even, I'm still.
Yeah, we believe you. We believe you 1,000,000%.
I was speaking about the beginning. I mean, but I feel like for all of us as women, once you get into the relationship, your head talks anyway. Because your intuition kicks in, whether you want to listen to it or not.
See, I think that intuition's in your heart. Or maybe
it's
it's
in
a
your
combination of both.
Yeah.
Maybe so.
I'll tell you, it's a difference between like, you know, the relationship I was talking about earlier and like how I am now. Like if I was to date now, I would 100% go in with my head.
Yeah.
And you know, it would be different.
Yeah.
But
So the funny thing is, I would be the opposite because
I'm a hard girl.
I think
We know.
now if I were to date, I would try the whole heart thing.
try the heart thing.
Try that heart thing. Something
Well,
about
I just mean
emotion.
because like I feel like if me and my husband now were to, you know, divorce for some reason, I would be completely devastated.
Oh, yeah.
So like I'm not following my heart
Yeah.
like right away. You
Nah,
know,
I would
like
be-
it would be
I would
too
have a big
hard.
wall on
Yeah,
my
there would be
heart- on my heart,
huge
yeah.
wall.
I would be like head all the way this time.
Yeah.
And
But
then
also-
my heart would come in at some point.
But also, that's also because we've been to the promised land at this point. So we've seen, like, should this relationship end? We've
Exactly.
seen
The best,
what a great,
yeah,
healthy marriage and
yeah.
relationship
So
could
my
be. So we're
tolerance level-
right. So say
and I
our
don't
bullshit
know-
meter is gonna be like beep, beep.
But I don't even know if I could get to the point that I am now with my mister with somebody, else.
Right.
So I don't
yeah.
even think at that point, like, it would strictly be because I just need somebody to keep me company.
You need to scratch that itch.
It would just be somebody to
Break
keep
the
me
glass,
company.
girl.
It would be a company keep.
So not a self-esteem thing. You just need some company.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Company.
That's why she wouldn't be in that relationship. She would just be breaking that glass.
So for Miranda, what do we say? Are we split? Are we kind of?
Well, no, actually, we're not split because we agree in the beginning to listen to your head, and then
But
you
I'm
can
a
bring the
hard
wall
girl,
down and
so
bring
I'll
the
probably
heart.
be I'll probably be the lone ranger.
So no, but you're
here.
not because she's head all the way and your heart all the way. So y'all cancel out, and the rest of us the majority. And we said, so listen to us, Miranda. Don't listen to them too. We said follow your head in the beginning and then follow your heart,
A dream.
unless your head starts telling you your heart is tripping, and then you can go back to the
So-
head.
a dream is a wish your heart makes
So maybe.
Okay, Cinderella.
when you're fast asleep. In dreams, you will lose your heartache.
You know, last night I
Whatever you
dreamt I
wish
was
for,
a
you
penguin. So tell me what that wish was.
Whatever you wish
Back
for,
to
you
Miranda.
So Miranda, maybe you need to do a combination of both. 50-50. Keep some logic in there, but also balance that with your feelings. And at the end of the day, trust your gut. And if something does not
Yep.
feel right, get out of there.
Isn't that what the third eye is for? Y'all know about the third eye? Isn't that what the third eye is? It's supposed to be like your
Can you tell us what the third eye
you're
is?
seeing out your into. I'm just pointing in the middle of my forehead right now. I don't know.
Some people may not know what the third eye is.
Somebody, well, listen. Somebody who knows more about the third eye than me needs to email us
Yeah,
and
we
tell
should
us.
probably do some more research.
Yes.
on Third eye.
I'll do
Yeah.
some research. I have it on my arm, so.
Oh, thank you, Keith.
Shoot it all
there's
over
the
to you
third
guys.
eye.
Thank you,
right
Keith.
there.
See?
So Key has her third eye. All right.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
She's ready to go.
She's headed for the right direction.
Catch those dreams.
All right.
So what about my penguin then? What that mean? What wish was that, Cinderella?
You gotta search within yourself.
maybe you want some cold weather because it's technically winter and we
It's definitely still
Yeah, the 70s.
Yeah.
ears be
it's
crispy.
more like summertime here. So
It
maybe,
was like 79 when I like dropped my son off.
yeah. So yeah, maybe that's it.
Plus, I got some really cute cold weather clothes I want to break out, and I feel real stupid wearing them right now because I be sweating. That's the truth.
All right, guys. So we thank you for joining us for this edition of For Mrs. and a Mike.
Yep, we think everybody's getting sleepy.
Yes. If you have questions, comments, you want to shout us out, you want to say hi, you can reach out on Facebook.
Or if
Twitter,
you'd like to give us some more information about a third eye, because now I'm really curious.
Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Are you all right over there, Cece? Sound like you're losing a lung.
You can also email us at formrsanamike@gmail.com. That's the number 4mrsandamike@gmail.com.
We're not doing a good job getting through these end credits.
Bree, you got a quote for us?
As usual, I have a quote, and this one comes from Miss Keisha Cole, and she says, "I don't want to love you, don't want to need you, just want to leave you. I just want it to be over."
All right, guys. This is CJ.
To the left is Cece.
It's L.
And Bree. Bye.